we'll get those people out of here just so I don't confuse you guys, because there's going to be a lot of confusing stuff to talk about. Okay, so
I know when I'm working on a soundboard, one of the problems that occurs is, for example, when I'm giving like testimonies or requests, prayer requests, someone will talk really quiet, and then some will hold it right up and they're very loud, and I'm not for sure which one to work all the time.
Right, and how you handle that is with compression, which is advanced, and you'll stick around to the end, and I'll show you how to do that if you want. Okay, so basically what the idea is, for people that just need to know how to get sound out of here, you know that the person singing is in channel 1 right here, right? So things to check to make sure that you're going to sound out. One, you have to make sure that this knob is up, at least on, and then you will get your fader to around unity, and then you can adjust the knob a little bit to get it so the volume's about where you want it at with the fader at unity, right? Now, just one quick note. Higher gain means more chance for feedback, right? So if you're having feedback on any channel for any reason, the first thing you always do is gain down, fader up, right? That's the #1 rule. If you remember nothing else, if you're back here, you have feedback, gain down, fader up. If you have to run the fader at +10 in order to have the gain down enough so that it's not feeding back, then that's fine. But if you get feedback, gain knob down, fader up, and that's how you can achieve the same volume level. Because basically what this is doing is this knob sends electrical current to the microphone, which heats the microphone up and makes it more susceptible to feedback. If this fader doesn't do that, it's just digitally making it louder, right? It's not heating up the element at the microphone. So feedback, gain down, fader, that's one thing to remember. Everyone here, good thing to know. Okay, so we want to get sound out of here. We got the knob up, this up. Obviously those are the 2 steps. The next thing you need to know, and this is just something you're going to have to know about this board, is there's a select button here. And you see there's a select for every channel, and as I press it, it illuminates blue. Now, how they color coded this board is, okay, so the button is blue, right? So I press select. Every time I press select, this entire section right here that is blue colored, is the settings that are on here are just for that channel, right? So it's not like it goes up and down with these knobs, right? That's not how it works. If I press select, all of these settings are just for that channel. If I press select on number 2, all these settings are just for that channel. And you can tell which one you have selected because it will say the number here, right? Now the only reason I tell you that is because there's an element in the chain to get sound out of here that exists in the select part. So step 1, gain up, right? Step 2, fader up. Step 3, press select, and then you have a section right here that says assign. Yeah?
If you select a specific channel and set it the way you want it, and then go to another one, will it stay that way until you reset it?
Let's find out. All right, so let's go select here. Let's twist some knobs. Right? Made some settings. So it saves it, right? So we can go over here now. I can twist all our knobs down, and you can see that it saves the settings for each channel, right? So hopefully that visualization will help it make more sense. Every time you press select, the blue section is reset for the settings just for that channel, right? Okay, so step 1 is gain knob, step 2 is fader knob, step 3 is you press select, and there's a section here that says assign. Okay? And there's 5 buttons here. Sub 1, 2, 3, 4, and main. These, as you can see, correlate to the labels of the outputs over here. Sub 1, 2, 3, 4, and main, right? So if I were to press sub 1, just have sub 1 illuminated on there, what will happen is the sound will come through here, hit the gain, hit the fader, then go to this channel, sub 1, and then that's where it stops, right? So now if we were to turn sub 1 off and turn on main, it would bypass all these and go right to main, right? So this section right here just says which of the 5 outputs am I supposed to use. If you have none of them on, it won't go out any of them, right? So the only reason why I'm telling you that is because that is a really common thing with digital boards that people, they can't get sound to come out. They're like, well, the gain's up, the knob's up, it should be working, I don't know what to do. Press select and check the output section.
It's another kink in the hose.
It's another kink in the hose, another kid holding the hose. Right.
So even if you had the main on for channel 1, it might not be on for channel 3 or whatever.
Right. So let's turn it off for this one. Now you can see now how you guys have it set up right. The board set up right now is everything is just going into main.
Except.
Well,
oh.
You
did it.
It
okay.
got reset when I updated the firmware. But you can see when I press channel 1 because I turned it off, the main is not illuminated. These 4 are used for subgroup mixing, which is advanced. If you don't worry about it for now, that'll be later on. The only thing you need to know is knob up, fader up, you press select, and make sure the main is on. Then if main is on, and this fader is up, which is main, then the board's done everything it can, and you should be having sound. If you're not, then it's either the microphone or the cable isn't working, right?
Alex, one of the basic things that only thing we do with subs is the drum thing. So
you have subs?
Sub 1.
Oh, subgroups.
Okay. The only subgroup we have is we'll put all the drums and we'll assign them into sub 1.
Yeah, Dad. Well, that's sub mixing. We'll do that later.
Okay.
We'll do that later.
But some of these, if they're gone, they need to know that if they can't turn up and down the drums.
Right. Sure. Yep. So what we're doing right now is just to get a channel working, right? So you're coming in, you're a volunteer, and you need to get sound working so that you can run the kids' thing on Thursday afternoon, right? Something like that. So I'm just giving you the steps to check. Make sure that the knob is up right here. This is your gain knob. Make sure your fader is up. Press select. Make sure main is illuminated in the output section. And then the main knob is up. Does that make sense to everyone here? Anyone have any questions about the logic of that or why it is how it is? Makes sense? Pretty good?
So in terms of order, it's just based on what the problem is. So feedback, gain down,
right.
Fader up.
So I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. So I gave you the analogy with the kid with the hose, right? Mm-hmm. Now, let's say the vocals here are quiet and you want to turn them up, right? Now you look at the fader and you see that the fader is already at +7 and it's still not loud enough, right? And so you're like, what's the deal? How do I fix this? Well, the problem is, this is kid 2, well, kid 2 on the hose, right? And kid 2, because you're at +7, he's got his hose unkinked all the way, right? He's saying, let everything through that I possibly can. But kid 1 before him is kinking it and just letting a little bit through, right? So it doesn't matter how much kid 2 unkinks his part of the hose. He's not going to get any more water out of there than he did already because kid 1 is already having the water kinked. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so what we need to do is make sure that all the kids in the line are unkinking the hose evenly. And so that sound is just flowing straight through. And what that's called is called gain structure. So essentially what we do is we set proper gain structure so that every kid in the line is unkinking the hose the proper amount, an equal amount. And so sound flows freely through the board out the speakers. And like I said, how that is done is with the Unity knob. And Unity is the board manufacturer telling you this is unkinked all the way, this is proper, right? And it doesn't mean that's where it's always going to be at, that's just the guideline. So you can, like I said before, there's a U up here, that's Unity, that's the manufacturer telling you, okay, this is a good spot for kid 1 to unkink his hose. And this is a good spot for kid 2 to unkink his hose. This is a good spot for kid 3. If at any point in your mix you have any one of these kids, any one of them at more than a ±10, then you've got an issue with some kid down the line kicking the hose too much, right? And so you just gotta kind of trace your problems back to find out where. So if you were running your mix and you have to keep the main fader down here at -20 to get it down to the volume you need. The problem, then you'll probably have your gain knobs too high, right? Or you're running all your faders at, you know, plus 10, right? And so in order to fix that, what the goal would be is to run this fader at U and these around U, you know, plus or minus 5 or 10, and then adjust these knobs so that you get the volume you want. Mom, you got a question?
Yeah, in order to run this right here, do you have to have that blue light tabbed on?
Right, no. The blue light, the select button, you only need to have that tabbed on if you need to modify something in this section.
Okay.
So if it's set already, you don't need to press select to turn the fader up or anything like that.
So these blue lights really don't matter unless you want to adjust one, just that channel.
Yep.
So this, 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 and this are the 4 things that you need to watch.
Correct. Now, if you have select pressed on 13 and you are checking this section with 13 select, obviously you're not going to change any settings for channel 1.
Right.
You need to make sure that the channel you're working with has the blue
Is lit
select
up.
line on,
Okay.
right?